My fellow visionaries, thank you for checking out my channel. My name's Chandler Short, and I woke up this morning going for my typical day-to-day walk, and I go for my morning walks because it's one of those times where I get to be to myself. I get to just take some deep breaths. I love starting my day with a morning walk where I either listen to my own personal hypnosis tape or I just walk in silence and I allow my thoughts to unravel and just take in the natural scenery around me. I'm here in Northern California. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. And the reason I wanted to film this video is going into 2024, if you're somebody who's had goals, expectations for yourself going into the new year, maybe you want to make more money, maybe you want to start this business, or maybe you've already started that venture and you're trying to get the ball moving and you're rolling forward. Whatever it is that you're working towards, I want to talk about why the foundation is so important. And it's something that often gets underlooked is the foundation. And it's why I'm standing next to this tree, which I just came across this morning, and I looked at it and I was like, wow, what a beautiful tree. Just so solid, the roots going into the ground. It's just a beautiful tree here. And it probably took years for it to build this incredible foundation that you see right behind me. Going into my own experiences in life, starting things can often be the most frustrating points in our life because we're either not good at it, we don't have the skill set, we don't have the confidence in ourselves, we don't have the belief, the mindset. We're still in that process of cultivating those things that we need in order to get from A to B. So just like anything, like currently, to give you an example in my own life, I'm relearning how to play the classical guitar. Now I know some chords, I'm okay, and a lot of times I can't transition, it's awkward for me, and I just get frustrated, right? So what I did is I took a step back and I'm like, okay, I really love playing the guitar. I really love the instrument and the way it sounds. It's not about me being a rock star one day or doing anything crazy like that, but I just really love the instrument and I can see myself playing it over time through the rest of my life just as a way of being at peace. So what I did was I have a classical guitar. I made sure like my setup's good. I have a little stand that props it up on my knee. I don't have all this fancy equipment, but what I did was I was like, all right, in the past, why have I quit guitar? And I thought to myself, well, I've quit because I get frustrated. It's really hard. The neck is really thick and I end up not being able to like maneuver my fingers really well, and the transitions suck and I suck, and it's just like, I don't know. It gets so frustrating to the point where I just end up quitting. Now, if you've been someone who's quit something because you've gotten frustrated, maybe you can relate to the story. So I actually was talking to my friend Steven, who really is a really great guitar player. He's also taught himself piano in less than a year, and he's incredible. And I'm like, well, shit, like, how does this guy, like, how is he any different than me? What is he doing differently than me where he's able to learn this instrument so quickly? So I thought to myself, well, maybe he's just more gifted. Maybe he just understands music better than I do. But I'm thinking to myself, deep down, I'm like, I don't think that's it. Like I can hear, I can listen to music, I have an ear for it, but it's not translating onto the guitar. So what I did, short story long, is he had me slow down. So he said, here, set up a metronome where it sets the timer every beat. And I slowed it down to like 60 BPMs. So it's going super slow, and I'm practicing transitioning my chords at a much slower pace. I'm strumming at a much slower pace. And at first that seemed like such a tedious process for myself, and I was like, is this how I'm gonna learn guitar, really? And no, eventually what I realized in a short span of time, within a couple minutes, I was like, whoa, I sound better. I'm like transitioning more smoothly because it's repetitions, but I'm also slowing it down. And sometimes in life, especially in the beginning when we're learning, you have to slow it down to speed up. That's just one example that I wanted to share with you this morning. You have to ask yourself, how badly do you want this thing? Why did you start in the first place? When I think to myself, I'm 2 years into chiropractic school, I have 1 year left. And this quarter for me, for whatever reason, I have struggled tremendously. I've gotten through all of the hard classes that I need to get through, and yet I have struggled the most in this quarter, I would say, towards the end, when I can see the finish line, and my brain and my mind are giving me thoughts of, hey, maybe you're not cut out for this. Are you sure you even want to do this? And then I think back to like why I got started in the first place with chiropractic. I grew up with chiropractic. It's changed my life. I would not be here standing as I am, a healthy 27-year-old, if it wasn't for chiropractic. I know that for a fact. I know the importance of having an aligned body so that your mind and your body are in proper harmony. Chiropractic has allowed that for me, and all I want to do is share that with the rest of the world. Because what I realized going through this process of going to school, I've dropped out before in undergrad. I've started a business that was generating $100,000 a year in profits. I ended up leaving that because I just wasn't satisfied. And, you know, I've bounced around on a lot of different things, and nothing's really stuck for me. Nothing's really felt like this is it. And so going through this process of chiropractic college, I've explored a lot of different techniques. I've explored a lot of different things that I have tried to see, like, hey, maybe this next thing I'm going to fit into it. And once I found what's called upper cervical chiropractic, and I had my upper part of my neck checked, and I was able to connect better with my brain and my body, I realized this huge aha moment for myself. As someone who's experienced concussions, injuries, head-to-head collisions, snowboarding accidents where I've hit my head on ice, I've realized that you cannot make clear, conscious decisions for yourself if you don't have clarity. Whoa. Simple idea, right? A lot of my life, I realized the reason I was making such abrupt changes, I would start something and quit so fast, is I truly had some neurological issues going on. And I wasn't able to recognize that until I started to get upper cervical care. So I truly believe in upper cervical chiropractic now, and I know that it has the ability to change the world, and it's why I will open up my own upper cervical practice at some point when I'm done with school. And getting back to the reason for this video is, if you're trying to formulate a strong foundation in your life, and it's okay if you it doesn't matter what your past is, it doesn't matter what mistakes you've made and all the things that you've attempted in this lifetime. Throw all of that aside. We're here today. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're working on, you can start today. You can forget about the past. You get a free slate, a free clean slate for yourself. And that's what I'm after. Is it's really easy to get down on yourself, especially when you're starting something new. But recognize that if you need to slow down in order to formulate a strong foundation, then that's necessary, and it's okay to slow down. Similar to this YouTube channel that I'm starting, and for those that don't know, I started a YouTube channel years ago just for fun, to do a vlog, and I was just doing it for fun. And you know, this has always been something that I've really loved doing, is making videos, and YouTube is just an awesome platform that I know has changed my life just through all the amazing content and videos that other influencers or other video content producers are putting out there. So I recognize that I have a lot of value to give to the world as well, and I'd just like to share some of those things. And also, this is just a platform where I'm not a professional public speaker by any measure, or I'm not a multi-million-dollar author or anything like that. But what I want to do is I want to start putting myself out there in front of the camera, just because I love doing this. Like, it's a Sunday morning, I could be sleeping in right now, but I would prefer to be creating something. I would prefer to be moving myself forward by ways of practicing my public speaking and creating content for people that might need help. Because the truth of the reality is that you don't even really recognize that one simple video, one view, could change the entire paradigm for somebody who's watching that video. So it's like back in the day when people were doing if you had to promote something in front of an audience, you would be lucky if you could get it in front of 15 people, maybe 50 if you had a big audience. Now I'm standing here in front of this camera and literally just talking to my iPhone, and if I were to post this to Facebook, to the 1,000 friends or whatever that I have on Facebook, I could get thousands of views on this video. The power of social media is incredible. And while we can look at social media and say, oh wow, it's so toxic for people, social media is just this negative space, and everyone's just like, the left is arguing with the right, vice versa. If you can step beyond that and realize that this platform, or any platform in particular on social media, you have the power and the ability to use your voice, to share from the heart and put yourself out there. And yes, it's going to feel awkward as hell at first, but the more you do this, the more reps you get, just like practicing the guitar, the more you'll get comfortable in front of the camera, speaking, talking. It's like, I haven't been doing this that long, and I feel like I'm able to ramble a bit more. And, that's okay if I'm rambling. That's part of the learning process when you're developing your voice, is you have to ramble a bit before you can kind of create that structure. At least that's what I found for myself. So, short story long, to try to bring everything back together and what I talked about here in this video, because one of my public speaking coaches at the college was like, hey man, you got to have a beginning, middle, and end, and try to recap everything. So Dan, if you're watching this video, know that I'm bringing it home here. Is strong foundation, right? You got to have a strong foundation. In order to formulate that strong foundation, try to slow it down, especially if it's something new that you're learning in the first place. Whether it's learning an instrument, starting a business, try to slow it down before you speed up. It's not always about doing. Sometimes you have to hone it back in, slow down to speed up. And the third thing is really just to put yourself out there. Ask yourself, why are you starting this thing in the first place? What is your why? You might have to come back to this over and over and over again. This is not a one time you write in your journal, my why is this. No, you might have to come back and rehearse that. Listen to it on an audio tape. Read it out on paper, like say it to yourself affirmationally. Whatever you got to do to remind yourself why you started in the first place, just do that. It's going to be a daily practice, because there's going to be people in your life, there's going to be the voices in your head, the thoughts that come through the ether that tell you why you're not good enough, why you can't do this thing, why you can't pursue your dreams. But I just want to give you that confidence in that belief in yourself that you can do this. The last thing that I wanted to share in this video is I used to work for a multi-million-dollar author, speaker, 3 times best publishing author. And he's got, he's making multiple millions. He's interviewing some of the, the big dogs out there. And one thing I realized when I was working for him early on in his career was I was filming him for his videos and stuff. He was like an online coach. And the one thing I saw with him, even though I was like, what is this guy doing? He's just talking in front of a camera like I'm doing right now. And I thought that he was so kind of goofy and weird. And I was like, is this guy really making any money? Like, how is this guy even paying me? But what I noticed is how much he believed in himself. It didn't even matter what he was saying. Half the time when I was recording him and he was speaking in front of this camera, he was saying nonsense. Like, I was just like, none of this, how is this even going to help anybody? Like, that's some of the thoughts that sometimes come through my head when I'm producing content like this. But what I realized and recognized working for this guy is he had so much inner belief. So whatever you're doing out there today, during this new year, start from within and cultivate that inner belief in yourself. You can do it. I can do it. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Chandler Short. If you got anything out of this video, please share it with a friend, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.